There's a hidden reason your manifestations haven't arrived yet, and no one ever told you. A reason so subtle it escapes even the most disciplined seekers, yet it's the very thing keeping your dreams just out of reach. You see, the moment you begin to want, you begin to push away. Not because wanting is bad, not because the universe is cruel, but because in vibrational language, wanting is the signal of separation. It whispers to the quantum field, "This reality is not yet mine." And the field, perfect in its coherence, simply echoes back the frequency you send. You might be visualizing your dream life, reciting affirmations, even feeling inspired, but if deep down the current running through you is still, "I don't have it yet," then that is the reality the field will continue to reflect, the experience of not having. This is the invisible trap where so many get stuck, not because they're unworthy, not because they're doing it wrong, but because their vibration is still anchored in desire instead of embodiment. Wanting is deceptive. It hides behind your goals, your affirmations, even your prayers. You say you want love, you want abundance, but the energy behind those words often screams, "It's missing." And the field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your essence. So it gives you more of what you are radiating, the signal of absence. Here's the shift, and it changes everything. The quantum field doesn't need your longing. It needs your coherence. It needs you to align with the version of yourself who already lives the life you're reaching for. And here's the truth. That version of you does not want. That version of you already has. So how do you bridge the gap? Let's look at this through the lens of quantum reality. The field is an infinite ocean of probabilities. Every version of you, the one who struggles, the one who thrives, the one fully aligned, already exists. These are not fantasies. They are frequencies. And you, the observer, collapse one of those probabilities into reality based on the signal you emit. When you say, "I want to be confident," the field hears, "I am not confident." When you say, "I want more money," the field hears, "I am lacking." Your desire, no matter how noble, is still encoded with absence. And that encoding becomes your energetic signature. This is why mystics and quantum teachers alike, from Neville Goddard to Joe Dispenza, emphasize feeling the wish fulfilled. Not hoping, not wishing, but embodying the version of you who already lives in that reality. Because only then does the field mirror back the evidence you've been waiting to see. Let's be clear about one thing. This is not about pretending. It's not about faking confidence or acting as if you don't care. It's about shifting the place you move from. No longer chasing something out there, but moving as the one who already holds it within. That distinction, that quiet, unwavering vibrational posture, changes everything. When you stop wanting, you stop broadcasting the frequency of absence. You stop retelling the old story of not enough. And for the first time, you begin transmitting something entirely different. Presence, certainty, embodiment. That's when reality begins to bend. That's when manifestations stop feeling like miracles and start arriving as natural reflections of who you become. But here's the deeper truth. Wanting doesn't just block your field in obvious ways, even dressed up in spiritual language, even disguised as ambition, as clarity, as alignment. Wanting is still wanting. And vibrationally, it still whispers the same thing to the field. I'm not there yet. Most of us were trained this way, conditioned to want, taught that wanting is the first step toward achievement. So we set goals, stay hungry, keep chasing the next thing. But in the quantum reality, that very hunger keeps you separate from what you seek. Why? Because the field doesn't respond to your goals. It responds to your state. In every moment, your identity, your emotional frequency, is broadcasting one of two signals. I have it, or I lack it. There is no in between. And wanting traps you in a loop, a feedback cycle of absence. The more you want, the more you reinforce the truth that it isn't here yet, and that keeps it forever suspended in the field, just out of reach, like tuning a radio to 88.5 and expecting to hear the music playing on 106.7. You can wish, you can pray, You can even scream your intentions into the sky, but the signal won't match because your frequency isn't aligned. And this is where science meets spirit. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called superposition. Every possible state already exists in the field simultaneously until an observer collapses one into reality, which means every version of you, the wealthy you, the loved you, the radiant, peaceful, confident you, is already here, waiting. But the version you experience depends on what you observe, and even more deeply on how you feel while you observe. If you keep looking at life through the lens of, I don't have it yet, you keep collapsing the timeline where you don't. This is why people say nothing ever changes. Not because the possibilities aren't there, but because the observer, you, hasn't shifted. Wanting also activates survival energy. Think about it. When you want something badly, what happens in your body? Tension, contraction, pressure. Those are incoherent states. They tell your nervous system you're unsafe. And a fragmented field can only mirror more fragmentation. But the moment you step into the frequency of having, even if only in your imagination, your body softens, your breath deepens, your heart opens, and suddenly the field becomes coherent. That's when manifestation truly begins. In the next part, let's bring this down into lived experience, so you can feel the shift for yourself. You may be whispering affirmations like, I want to attract love. Yet beneath the words, there's still a quiet ache of loneliness. And it's that ache, not the words, that the field hears. Or perhaps you're visualizing freedom and abundance, but the current running through you is fear. And that fear is what the field organizes around. Not because it's punishing you, but because it's mirroring you, precisely, faithfully. The quantum field is nothing if not intelligent. It is a perfect feedback loop of your essence. And here's the part most overlooked. You cannot out-affirm or out-visualize a frequency rooted in lack. You cannot override the field with surface-level rituals. To change the signal, you must change the source. You must shift the felt experience, deep in your being, to the version of you who already lives what you desire. This is where many souls hesitate. They wonder, if I let go of wanting, won't I lose my drive? Won't I stop growing? But that question comes from ego, not essence. Because your higher self does not operate from lack. It moves from knowing. And knowing is infinitely more powerful than wanting. When you shift from I want to I already am, your actions become clear. Your decisions become intuitive. You stop pushing, you start magnetizing. You begin choosing from alignment, not from scarcity. And when that happens, everything accelerates. You become a clear signal in a noisy field. In the next part, we'll explore exactly how to make this shift, how to move from wanting to being through a simple daily ritual that aligns your body, calms your mind, and clears your field. Because this isn't about pretending, it's about tuning. And when you change the signal, the entire symphony of your world begins to change. So how do you actually do it? How do you shift from I want to I already have, when everything your senses tell you still screams, you don't? The answer is both simple and radical. You train your body to believe what your mind cannot yet see. You anchor a new vibrational reality, not through thought, but through experience. Because the field does not respond to words. It responds to the music of your emotional state. And the fastest way to change that music is through the body. Let's begin with breath. Breath is the bridge between the seen and unseen, between chaos and coherence. When you breathe shallow and fast, your system believes you are in danger. Your signal scatters, your field becomes noisy, focused on threat and lack. But when you breathe deeply and slowly, especially into your heart, your body softens, your brain waves quiet, your heart rhythms sink into harmony, your field becomes coherent, and in that stillness, a new signal begins to broadcast. So tomorrow morning, begin like this. Before you reach for your phone, before you open your to-do list, sit quietly. Place one hand gently over your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly for a count of 5. Hold for 2. Exhale softly for 6. and feel in as your frequency begins to shift. Stay here just for 3 minutes. Breathe slowly, deeply, and as your breath softens, begin to invite into your awareness the version of you who already lives what your heart has been asking for. Don't just think about them, feel them. Feel how they move through the world, how their breath flows, what quiet emotions fill their body, how they choose, how they stand. Let that version of you become vivid, not in your mind, but in the quiet language of your nervous system. Then gently ask yourself, what does it feel like to already have it? Not what it looks like, not what others would see, but what it feels like in your being. Is it peace? Is it quiet confidence? Is it joy? Whatever rises, even if it feels faint or artificial at first, trust it, because your task is not to perform it perfectly. Your task is to generate it, to let your body rehearse this new frequency until it becomes familiar. And here's the secret. Whatever becomes familiar to your body becomes inevitable to your field. This is how you break the loop. This is how you teach your system to stop waiting for evidence and start becoming the evidence. You're no longer reacting to the world outside of you. You're instructing it, collapsing the old version of yourself that needed proof, and stepping fully into the identity that radiates certainty. Don't worry if it doesn't feel real right away. That's not failure. That's just the old vibration dissolving, the nervous system untangling its addiction to lack. Stay with it. Keep breathing. Keep feeling. With time, the signal grows stronger. And as it does, little shifts appear in your world. People respond differently. Doors open, ideas flow. You stop trying to make it happen, and you start letting it match you. To deepen this practice, add movement. When you finish the breathwork, stand up slowly and begin to move as them. Walk with their posture. Speak with their calm certainty. Choose from their knowing. Yes, it might feel strange at first, but each choice you make from that energy is a vote for that timeline. And each time you embody it, the field adjusts to mirror you back. You're no longer visualizing a distant dream. You're rehearsing your reality, not just once, not twice, but again and again, until it stabilizes. This is what rewires your system. This is what anchors the frequency. You collapse the wave of possibility into the particle of lived experience. And here's something even more powerful. The more often you return to this practice, the more natural it feels. The gap between who you are now and who you are becoming begins to dissolve. What once felt like imagination will soon feel like memory, because your body, your field, will recognize it as familiar. And the field always delivers what aligns with the coherence inside you. In the next step, we take this even deeper. How do you hold this frequency not just in the quiet of morning, but in the chaos of your day? How do you keep choosing, I already have it, even when nothing outside seems to have changed yet? That is where the real alchemy begins. Because manifestation is not tested in stillness. It is tested in traffic, in the middle of a triggering conversation, when the bank account still whispers, lack, when someone challenges your worth. That's the moment your frequency is either stabilized or forgotten. The version of you who already has it doesn't flinch when reality looks off. They don't scramble to fix or force. They don't need proof, because they are the proof. They understand the field responds to consistency, not intensity, and so they stay steady. That's your next step. To hold the signal through contrast, to walk into your current life as the observer, not the reactor. To stop waiting for your environment to give you permission and start letting your vibration become the cause. And how? It begins in micro moments, when the old thought arises, when the old posture slouches, when the breath goes shallow. You pause, you breathe, and you ask yourself quietly, is this how someone who already has it feels? If not, don't judge yourself, just recalibrate, choose again. That is the discipline of frequency, not rigidity, but returning over and over, until the return becomes who you are. That's when you become magnetic, not because you are pulling life toward you, but because you've stopped pushing it away. Start noticing, Your posture, is it open or collapsed? Your breath, is it shallow or deep? Your words, are they affirming lack or confirming alignment? The version of you who already has it walks differently, thinks differently, listens differently, not because they try, but because they embody. They are no longer checking the outer world for confirmation. They are living their inner world as if it is already real. And it is at that moment that the external world begins to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became a match for it. Let's make it real right now. Comment below, not as a habit, not as an algorithm trick, but as your declaration. Type, I already have it. Feel what happens as your fingers type those words. Feel the field hear your signal. Feel yourself become the evidence. I already have it. This is not a gimmick. This is a collapse. A moment when the invisible becomes visible, when the internal crystallizes into the external, when your timeline finally solidifies. And as you type those words, others feel it too. Because this isn't just a comment on a video. It's a calibration, a collective resonance, a field of alignment that we are weaving together now. Here's the paradox. The more fully you embody, I already have it, the less you chase. And the less you chase, the more it comes. Naturally, effortlessly, coherently, because the field responds to clarity, and nothing is clearer than coherence. So let this be your new baseline. You're no longer trying to manifest. You're no longer reaching for what seems out of reach. You're radiating. You've stopped reinforcing absence. You've become the evidence of presence. And when that shift takes root, the signs begin to appear. Not loud, not dramatic, but unmistakable. Subtle confirmations, gentle rearrangements of the ordinary. The field whispers back. You've stopped vibrating from want. You're receiving from being. The first sign isn't something you see, it's something you feel. A strange calm settles into your system. You're not numb. You're not passive. You're just grounded. The inner noise quiets. You stop scanning for proof. You stop pleading with life to deliver, because your nervous system finally believes it's already done. That's powerful. That's the first indicator that your signal is stabilizing. Coherence is the first proof that your manifestation is collapsing into form. Then come the synchronicities. Not as fireworks, but as quiet alignments. You think of someone, they reach out. You speak a desire, an opportunity appears. You release control, and the insight you'd been missing lands. These are not coincidences. They are harmonics, the field tuning itself to your new frequency. And resistance? It begins to fade. That conversation you dreaded? Suddenly it feels easy. That heavy problem? Suddenly it feels solvable. Your circumstances haven't drastically changed, but your relationship to them has. That's the field reorganizing itself in response to your coherence. And once again, not because you forced it, but because you stopped pushing against it. You may even notice that time feels different. You're no longer anxious about the future, no longer tangled in the past. The now feels fuller, more alive. You're not distracted anymore. You're present. And presence is the signature of the already have frequency. It doesn't live in projection, it lives in experience. This is what most people miss about quantum manifestation. It rarely begins with visible outer change. It begins with subtle energetic rewiring, the kind you can only notice when you feel instead of wait. You'll even find your choices shifting, no longer driven by fear, no longer pressured by lack, but guided by resonance. You say yes to what belongs on your new timeline. You say no to what belongs to the old one. And with each aligned choice, you anchor the version of you that has already received. Momentum builds, and soon, the click moments arrive, when everything just flows. And then something even more powerful happens. People start responding differently to you. They mirror your new signal. They can't explain why, but they feel it. That is the field reflecting your coherence back to you. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer reaching. You've tuned in. You've become the evidence. And now, the field responds. That's reality, recognizing a new observer. You stop arguing with what is. Even when things appear delayed, you no longer spiral, you no longer panic. Because deep down you know, the process is already unfolding. You trust the field, not conceptually, but viscerally. And that trust magnetizes more trust, more flow, more ease. Then comes the quiet power of emotional detachment, not apathy, alignment. You stop obsessing, stop overchecking, stop monitoring your manifestation like a late package. Why? Because the version of you who already has it isn't worried. And when you stop worrying, the timeline collapses faster. Clean energy is efficient energy. And if you're already seeing these signs, even subtly, you're in it. The shift has begun. The field has heard you. Not because of what you said, but because of what you became. And now, it's time to seal this journey, to anchor this frequency deep into your body so that it doesn't just visit you, it becomes you. Because this isn't about one manifestation. This is about becoming a new signal, permanently. You didn't force it. You didn't wish harder. You simply remembered the truth. The version of you who has it, who lives it, who is it, has always been there, broadcasting, waiting to be received. So now, let's seal it. Not with more information, but with integration. Find a quiet place, sit, feel the ground beneath you. Place your hand over your heart, let your breath slow, and then bring to mind the version of you who no longer wants, the one who already receives, the one who radiates certainty, completion, peace. Don't try to imagine a perfect scene. Just tune into the feeling. I already have it. Let it rise in your chest. Let it hum in your breath. Let it shape your posture. And if doubt shows up, smile at it. Breathe. Return. Because returning is the art. And every time you return, you reinforce. Now softly, inwardly, or aloud, speak the phrase that carries the frequency. I already have it. Say it again. Let it vibrate through your cells. Let it ripple into your field. This isn't just a mantra, it's a reprogramming code, the signature of your new timeline. And from here, there's nothing left to force, nothing left to prove. You don't need more signs. You don't need more validation. You are the evidence. You are the shift. This is the difference between hoping for a better life and choosing one, between waiting for reality to change and becoming the frequency that commands it. So take this into your day, into your choices, into your breath. Don't just practice it once, live it. Let it show in how you speak, in how you respond, in how you trust. Let your life become the transmission. Let your energy walk into the room before your words ever do. And remember, every time you feel yourself slipping back into want, you're only one breath away from returning. You're just one phrase away from remembering, I already have it. Let this be your calibration point, your energetic home. And when you need to return to this frequency, this knowing will be right here. Because this isn't just a video, it's a space, a resonance, a community of observers collapsing a new timeline together. If this journey activated something in you, if this vibration felt like home, subscribe, align, join the field, return often, reprogram deeply. Because your reality isn't waiting for your desire, it's already responding to your signal, and your signal has already changed.